Welcome to the 2025 Dialogue, a masterclass series by the HR Association of India. I am Neha Jagnani, and today we are joined by Sarabjeet Sachar, an industry veteran whose expertise in career coaching, recruitment, and leadership has transformed thousands of careers. This conversation isn't just about professional growth, but about equipping individuals with the mindset and strategies to break barriers. Sarabjit is the founder and CEO of Aspiration and is a seasoned career coach with nearly 40 years of experience in recruitment, sales, and coaching. Formerly in top management at Times of India and ZTV, he has conducted 10,000 plus interviews and coached professionals across 500 plus clients, including Pidilite and Mahindra. A respected speaker and writer, his career insights have impacted thousands of professionals with a social media following of nearly 4 lakh. Sarabjit, thank you so much for joining. It's a pleasure having you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Neha, for this kind words. It's really exciting for me to be a part of this session and also part of, whatever HR AI has done as initiatives, because this is something which I'm very passionate about. And especially when you told me about, woman empowerment, that I personally feel we have really kind of underutilized the potential. And I think when I'm coaching, especially women with so many challenges when they come across, it's a pleasure to actually see when they start getting the direction, because I personally believe that women have huge potential, which is unexploited, and it's just not noticed by many of the corporates. So I'm sure I'm looking forward to a very good discussion, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Sarabjit. I can't wait to kickstart this exciting masterclass. So, to begin with, as you rightly mentioned, you've coached thousands of professionals there. So, I want to know what are some of the unique challenges that you have seen women facing in their career growth, and how can they overcome those challenges?
That's a very, very interesting and an important question, because what happens in cases of women, Neha, one has seen that they have a huge amount of responsibility to integrate their work and home life.
Right.
Now, this is something which is very unique to women, because while, of course, men also have the equal responsibility to contribute to run the house and to ensure that, there is fulfillment overall. But I think the way the women have to manage is a big, big, uh, I would say, a challenge for women per se.
Right.
Because without the woman of the house and the home, if she is not able to balance the home front, the career goes for a toss. Now, this is something which is very unique to women. And because of that, at many occasions, you find that when I coach women also, I see that they are desiring to achieve what they're wanting to achieve in their career. But somewhere, it has been some challenge or the other which comes in the way,
Right.
and they have to handle it. So that's very unique to women. I would like to name about 4 major challenges that I have come across.
Sure.
One of them being a career break. Now, this is something which is very common. And what happens is, while the career break could have been for a genuine reason, it could be a ailing family member, it could be relationship being maintained, it could be children, it could be maternity leave, whatever. But women, I've noticed they had to take a break.
Right.
Most of the women have to do it. Now, when this happens, generally speaking, the recruiters have this perception that, whether the woman would have really upgraded herself, somewhere the perceived value of the woman who's coming after a break, could be 5 years, 7 years, is going down. Now, I don't blame the recruiters, because recruiters, what's happening is that the change is happening so fast
Right.
in the industry, at the workplace, is that they themselves are grappling with that change. So they always prefer somebody who's like going to pick up the ball and run. The moment they see on the resume that there's a woman who's got the potential, but she's got a career break, perception wise, they start feeling whether she's as valuable as she was, say, maybe 6, 7 years back when she really took a break. Now, to handle this, generally what happens, my advice has been that women, because they prepare themselves, okay, and I want to come back to work, my responsibilities at home, for whatever reason I've taken the break, is kind of handled, let me go back to the corporate job, they suddenly start applying for jobs.
Right.
not being really proactive. And that is where they start feeling that, oh my God, because of my break, I'm not getting a response. That is not the fact. What needs to be done, and what I advise also, most of the women, they do it very successfully, is to prepare at least 6 months in advance. Assuming, you know that you got to return to work next year, and suppose you say, okay, next April I'll be back in work, and because my responsibilities, okay,
Mm.
maybe by October, you have to start preparing. And what do I mean by preparing? Preparing means, because you've been away from work, ideally speaking, there has to be some projects or freelance based assignments which you should have handled. Even if it is one in a year, two in a year, but you should have kept touch in terms of what's happening in the industry. Today, with the digital world, frankly, to even in a work from home scenario, you can get a lot of freelance assignments. Those
Right.
are easily available. Take those up, even if it is pro bono, because the objective is to keep yourself
Update.
updated and your skills honed.
Mm.
That is something where the women miss out. So one part is that. Then 6 months in advance, start preparing, networking,
Mhm.
start studying the industry, be on LinkedIn, see what is happening in the industry. My God, Neha, the changes in the job market are so much that even people who are in their existing jobs are not able to keep pace. AI has, say, for example, in a job description, there are about 9 key areas. Out of that, suddenly four have been taken away by AI. And
Right.
those remaining five then again have evolved, and you have had got new 5 areas. So your job profile has changed and evolved. Now, if that's the kind of change that's happening currently, and people who are in the job market and at the workplace are not able to keep up pace, a woman or anybody else who's taken a break has to update herself. Because what happens if you just suddenly start applying
Right.
just because you want to get back to a job, and there are two questions asked which reflect that you've not updated yourself, immediately you are rejected. And that's where, you start feeling that, am I really valuable or no?
Right.
So I think very important that 6 months in advance, you start preparing yourself that, okay, I want to get back to this corporate job,
Mm.
and prepare accordingly. Uh, the second uh, constraint I've noticed is that because women have been at home, for whatever reason, it could be the belief systems, it could be the perception, there is that imposter syndrome that somehow sets in, not consciously, but unconsciously. Now, what's an imposter syndrome? It's not something that you're not confident about yourself. It's more about whether I am really valuable, means how good I am. Am I really good enough? Because one or two rejections and they start feeling diffident about themselves,
Right.
which is what is very important. Because if you really want to exploit your full value and potential, you got to ensure that you are valued, and for that, that preparation is essential. Your support system at home is essential. You got to ensure that everything in the home is supportive of your coming back, or for that matter, a career advancement part also.
Right.
Another thing I notice in a woman is the travel constraint. Many times I was coaching somebody, let's call her Simran, very senior lady, 17, 18 years experience in the audit, excellent. But she got a career advancement opportunity. But somehow, because of the travel, the moment she was going to get that promotion and the additional responsibility, she was supposed to travel once a week. The boss said that once a week you'll have to travel. For whatever reason, her children were still in college, etc. She had her elderly in-laws. She
Right.
didn't want to travel.
Right.
So she asked me, I said, why don't you discuss with your boss? And she was a very intelligent woman, well entrenched into the job, very valued by the company. So I said, and what she had done very smartly, this is something which will help people. She had developed a second line of two male members. So she went and confidently told her boss that I am ready to take up this promotion. And because she was so good, she said, I'll make the travel once a month, not once a week. And the balance 3 weeks, these two people who are my number twos will travel. And today in the digital world, I'll do a virtual meeting with them, and I'll ensure that the results are there. She got the promotion because she had valued herself in the company, and the company was also valuing. So some adjustment was also made. These are things that are there when it comes to challenges. And the last challenge I feel very sad about is the POSH,
Mhm.
prevention of sexual harassment.
Right.
When I hear that, I just say that, why just can't you stand up? Just stand up, yaar. Open up your voice. Don't worry, because character you cannot compromise for whatever reason. Leave the job. Now, that is a challenge which women face very uniquely. The only solution is just come out in the open, be bold about it, be very vocal and transparent about it. Finish it off. That's it. Because nothing can replace your character. Period. So these are the unique challenges and how you can handle that, Neha.
Sure. So to summarize, Sarabjit, there was career break, then there is an imposter syndrome that kicks in. There's a traveling constraint, and last but not the least, the Posh Act. Thank you so much, Sarabjit. Very well put. Great insights there. So,
I just want to add one part. I'm sad to see. I just read in Economic Times 3 days back that there's been a 22% rise in posh complaints, 23, 24. Sad to see that. Sad. It's increasing, posh complaints.
oh,
I hope the companies are taking it seriously and they do something about it.
sure,
Okay.
absolutely. So, Sarabjit, my next question is with respect to personal branding. We all know how crucial it is in anybody's career success. So, I want to know how women professionals can, position themselves as leaders and stand out in the competitive industries.
Oh, absolutely. This is such an important question again because personal branding, not only for women, it is equally good for men, but at the same time, more for women because, as I mentioned, there are unique challenges that
Yes.
women come up with. So, whether it's leadership roles, etc., or coming back to corporate work, personal branding helps. What happens if you are either a commodity or a personal brand? If you fall in the commodity category, you will always grapple with questions that the employers will have, whether it's an existing job or you're going in for a new job that whether she will really add value to me, whether she will fit my work culture, whether she will be able to, she will be reliable, something like that. If you don't have a personal branding kind of a thing.
Mhm.
Now, when you move out of the commodity category and go into the personal branding, immediately your value is seen. You are really authentic, you are credible, you are able to present your value, and you can differentiate yourself. So when I coach people, even on personal branding, especially women, there are 7 steps that I actually advocate. One is defining your value. Means you got to ensure that how can you help organizations? Can you help them save money? Like in the case of the lady I was talking about in audit, how she could help save money, or you can improve the process, or can you generate revenue? What is it that is the true value that you can get? Second, identify the pain points. Every job has a pain point. Are you in a position to identify the pain point? What is the pain of this job? How can you kind of ensure that you will solve this pain? And for that, I have a very excellent framework which is called the CAR format, CAR. Write down 10 stories, I say, in this format, which is C is for challenge, A is for action, and R is for result. The moment you write down these 10 stories, your skills start getting reflected through these stories. When you start getting measurable results, you suddenly know that, yes, I think this is something which is, I'm addressing the pain point of this job and I can very well kind of handle this. So when you start addressing the pain points, your value is going up and then your personal brand is taking shape. That is the second one. Third is you can align your brand attributes with the beliefs and values. So, for example, if you have a kind of a belief that you are very disciplined as a woman or you are a transparent communicator, you
Right.
believe only in transparent communication. Now, if that's your belief, let your personal brand speak about it. Or if you're, for example, your value is that you are very resilient or adaptable or are a problem solver. Even at home, you can solve problems, etc. Let your personal brand reflect that. Fourth is you should leverage your passion and integrate that with your personal brand. Now, leveraging your passion could be that you are very, very organized. I've seen that women have this ability of, because they can multitask, they at home, many of the women I see, naturally, they have this organizing ability. Now, if you are very organized, believe you me, that when it's integrated into your personal brand, that's a huge benefit in the workplace and for leadership positions also. So that's the fourth one. Fifth is you can get very clear on your unique strengths. What is it that you can bring to the table? Can you save money? Can you close a sale at the last moment, the biggest deal? What is it that you can really bring to the table, especially in terms of, I would say, your domain? So, are you good with supply chain? What is that unique strength that you bring to the table? Sixth is conduct a SWOT analysis. I always advise when you are doing a personal branding, do a SWOT analysis, your strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Your strengths can be enhanced. The weaknesses, I would rather call them in areas of improvement. You should list them down separately and then integrate your brand on the basis of your strengths and looking at the opportunities. And the last, and but not the least, is set a 6-month career goal for your personal brand, because personal brand is something which keeps evolving. It is not something which is static. So
Right.
it's got life in it. So as you evolve, your personal brand evolves, and set a 6-monthly goal that this is what I would do with my personal brand in the next 6 months, and I will do. But it is very essential to have a personal branding done for women. Then it becomes far more easier. And the last point is be active on LinkedIn, because your online brand presence is also very, very, very essential. See what your headline says, see how your profile is presented, see what your picture is, optimize your profile. These are the areas that will help in personal branding.
Sure. Thank you so much. That was a very crisp and important points that you made, Sarabjeet. I especially like the car concept. It really can help you analyze things for yourself, and it's very crucial that you work and leverage on your strengths and continue to work on your personal brand. Thank you so much. My next question, Sarabjit, is we have seen many women hesitate when it comes to negotiating salaries, having those difficult conversations, or even asking for career advancements. So I want to know, what strategies would you recommend to help women advocate themselves in an effective way?
Oh, excellent. Because generally, women feel that काम कर रहे हैं, मेहनत कर रहे हैं, why am I not getting it? But self-advocacy is something which is important. But what happens is generally it's societal kind of conditioning, your own belief systems, or sometimes practical concerns. As I said, woman as a being has to really integrate work and life much more than men. Again, I'm saying, being a man myself, I know that how difficult it is for a woman to integrate that and maintain that balance, if we may call it. So if these are the things, somewhere what happens is that you have certain mindsets which you need to shift. And there are 3 mindset shifts I would recommend, because if you don't shift on those areas or those aspects, you will not be in a position to really get what you deserve, whether it's existing employer or whether it's a new job that you're looking for.
Right.
So first one is something which is, I've seen very common, imposter syndrome. Again, am I good enough? Now, again, that has been circumstantial. It's because you are trying to manage the work and the home all the time. You somewhere feel a little compromised, or you feel I have to make this adjustment. Can I really? So you got to shift your mindset in terms of getting your support system ready, ensuring that you have a smooth flow of backup when you are getting a career advancement opportunity, or like how I gave you an example of how she managed with the second line. So build a good team so that you don't fall into that trap. So imposter syndrome, just handle it. You are really good and valuable. That's your first mindset. Second is own your own value and be very visible. Now, being visible is important because it's not about self advocacy in a very aggressive way,
Hmm.
but yeah, with humility, without ego, with humility, you got to ensure that you document whatever you have done throughout the year. And if the company doesn't have a very formal system of kind of being evaluated like this, every 3 months, you can always initiate with your boss. Ask your boss that, see, these are the things that I'm doing. Am I on the right track?
Right.
Once you take the inputs from your boss, start a system of maintaining a record and documenting it for your own self. And just mention it to your boss that at the end of 3 months, I'd like to show you whatever you have mentioned and whatever I have achieved. Are we on the right track? So if you do it regularly every quarter, 4 times a year, you don't really have to wait for the 12-month period. And because, Neha, asking for a salary increase or a career advancement, I've noticed that this happens many times. People feel I didn't get this what I deserve. I said, what was your approach? He said, no, or she said, I went to my boss. Yeah, I said, this is not done. I've done so much. I said, but did you communicate this regularly? No, but there's no system in the company like this. Means it's there, but वो तो एक formal HR का होता है. But वैसा नहीं. Why don't you create your own system and every 3 months update your boss with measurable achievements? So show your value, own that, and be visible. In the sense, being visible doesn't mean, again, I'm saying self-advocacy has to be done with humility, without the ego. That is the second part. And third is see yourself as a consultant. This is something which I always tell everybody, that the moment you start seeing yourself as a consultant and your employer as your client, your perspective shifts. Because then what happens as a consultant, what are you trying to do? You're trying to solve the problem of your stakeholders, your bosses, your if you're searching for a job, if your prospective employers. If you do that, the moment you wear a business consultant's hat and start looking at the pain of that job and say, okay, I will solve this, your value automatically increases. So instead of feeling that, I'm good or not good, you start getting the confidence because you are covering yourself with these three key areas of mindset, and ensuring that you are at a place where you hold your head high and discuss what you deserve, not ask for it. Means because you have measurable achievements, because you've kept your boss informed, because you have integrated his or her inputs into your plan, you have already ensured that you are in the direction of what the company or the job role is wanting to move. And you are like a business consultant who's looked at your client, who's your employer, and you integrated all the inputs to solve the problem. You will feel that naturally at the end of the year. Yeah, of course, there could be cases where the companies are not fair. That's a different story. But otherwise, you should be able to get that career advancement which you do. But have your support system ready. Have your people at home also ready if you're taking up responsibilities which are higher. And ensure that you communicate this. And again, I would advise people, women, to be available on LinkedIn, because again, your visibility on LinkedIn is also important. So
Sure.
these are things that you can do for career advancement.
Fantastic, Sarabjeet. So to summarize, these practical insights is you have to channelize your imposter syndrome when it kicks in. You focus on personal branding with humility, where you're also communicating with your management, not asking but discussing the work that you have done. And thirdly, you mentioned that you have to wear a business consultant's hat, which is a great takeaway. So thank you so much, Sarabjeet. So my next question is, as a leadership coach, I want to know what are some of the key qualities that you have noticed, that women bring into the leadership roles and which are often overlooked or undervalued. What are their strengths?
Oh, yes. I would love to speak about it because, frankly, I have my wife who's been supporting me for the last 23 years that we've been running our company. And I can see and I can say with confidence that women have some innate God-given qualities which are being overlooked, especially for leadership roles. Again, in economic times, it was Udayti Foundation which just published a report saying in the Nifty 50 companies, in fact, day before yesterday, Nifty 50 companies, there are only 8% of women in the leadership roles. That means you're talking of 92% are men. Why that gender inequality? Who's to blame for that? Frankly, it's tali do haath se bajti hai. At the same time, if women have to take up leadership roles, there are certain things that I believe they are so innate. If it has nothing to do with the domain. You could be from IT, finance, admin, HR, wherever, but innate qualities like emotional intelligence and empathy, it comes naturally to women. They are so integrated with the family that whatever men might say, but I think the responsibility and accountability of a woman to integrate the work and life is much higher.
Right.
Men are doing their job, contributing, making a career success, everything. But women are the ones who are managing the emotions of the children, parents, in-laws, at least in India, in the joint family system, if you are staying together, all those things. And it's not easy to manage the emotions of children. And they are all from diverse thought processes, generation gaps. They manage it so beautifully. They manage the husband, they manage the children, they manage the in-laws. Just imagine. So when we are talking of, being inclusive, diversity, women can do that. They have proven it. They already have that innate quality. So something like that is, frankly, one, it is being overlooked. And second, women themselves have to bring out. These are all transferable skills or innate abilities for leadership, which we keep talking about. But if they are inborn in a woman and they are better at it, why not give them a chance?
Right.
So that is something which is there. Second, they are very good, very naturally in collaborative and teamwork. Uh, when it comes to managing home affairs, I'm just drawing the parallel from home to work. Why? Because whatever they do, these are all transferable or innate qualities. This is not something which they have learned from school or college, or there is a certification for that. We are talking of practical things. Collaborating and teamwork at home, fabulous. There is something where your son wants to go abroad, you don't want him to go, daughter wants to go, you don't want her to go. So many things happen, but they ensure that, with a very cool mind, they can collaborate and ensure that as a team, as a family, you work together. The same principle applies when you're leading teams. Now, we keep talking about collaboration and teamwork. Women get that naturally. Why can't we capitalize on that? There are women who have coached, as I said, whether it's audit, IT, NGOs, so many. They've got excellent domain knowledge. But when I highlight all these qualities, and then you start defining them in your personality in terms of communication, it starts making a world of a difference to you to get leadership positions. And finally, women are extremely innate and good at communication and having a positive impact or influence, which we want in leadership. Uh, when it comes to explaining, when it comes to inspiring, whether it comes to inspiring children, inspiring your husband, inspiring people at home, they are doing it beautifully in spite of their work commitments, but they are doing it. So that quality also can be really fully exploited when you start having leadership positions for women, and women will do an excellent job there. Means I would definitely say that uh, just a 8% representation of women is something which is very poor. Because of that, they have this ability that they communicate. At the same time, they are resilient and can handle uncertainty. Suddenly something is happening. There could be a financial crisis at home, there could be illness at home, etc., but a woman will be able to manage that. So when you are talking of managing uncertainty and navigating through that, they can do it very beautifully, which leaders are anyway expected to do. So there are some of these qualities which I just named, which can be capitalized upon. And when you integrate that with the woman's domain knowledge and transferable skills, she can make an excellent leader. Means I would definitely encourage women to be very strong on that. I've come across, in fact, example of my wife. Sometimes when I'm discussing with her, she can see things in the longer term much better than me, and she will tell me, "No, I think you're not thinking right."
Right.
I think so. That is the time when I use her as a sounding board, and she advises things that I think this marvelous. This I'm talking of very practical things at home, which I feel that women have. So many women, when I coach them, I see them having. They just need to kind of, shift their own perspective and not look at it as an aggressive presentation of injustice, but own the narrative which they have. Own that narrative. If
Sure.
you can do that, I would advise women that don't wait for a seat on the table. Just pull up a chair and own that chair, yeah. Own your place. You are a leader. You have to do that.
Sure. Fantastic, Sarabjeet. So there is emotional intelligence, there is collaboration and teamwork, and finally communication, which we can say that these are strong pillars of every successful organizations or team. And women bring that to the leadership roles. Thank you so much. So my last question, Sarabjeet, is can you share a success story where you mentored or coached a woman who broke barriers in her field, and what lessons can others learn from her journey?
Of course, there is a lady, let's call her Malaika. I was coaching her, and she had taken a career break and she wanted to get back. So somehow she was wanting to find a job and was not able to make it. And when she approached while coaching, I realized that I asked her, "What is your passion?" And I could see that, she was very, very passionate, highly passionate about one thing, which is she said, 18 years experience. She said, I have always done things for the society which impacted positively, whether it is youth, whether it is environment, whatever. I'm very passionate about helping young people exploit their potential, or if anything in the society I can contribute. Now that was something which was a very deep rooted passion, because her father and also was from an NGO, and they were coming from that kind of a background.
Yeah.
Now, that is something which is innate in her. That's a belief and a value. So she had not really exploited this fully. I said, how are you looking for these jobs that you're wanting? She was not getting success. She said, I'm just applying for wherever I'm seeing some opportunity. It could be to do with the energy conversation, conservation, whatever that kind of a thing, where I feel there is an opportunity. I said, but have you brought out this passion of yours, which really, you feel that you should impact society positively and create a positive influence? She said, no, I've not really brought this on the forefront. I said, no, then change your approach. List down 10 employers who have a similar kind of value and first write to them saying that, I'm passionate about impacting society and I believe impacting society positively, and I believe and I see that your organization is doing the same. So there is a connection, there is something which is really motivating me to approach you, and I'd like to discuss. That's it. No resume, nothing to be sent. I said just first form a connection on the basis of the mission and the value of the company. Not that all 10 people will respond to you positively, but out of 10, even if 3 respond, that's great success. And she did get response, and then after that, when she went for interview, she presented herself well, because she got an opening in a one of the Udyam Foundation, which is to they believe in having youngsters at the age of 14, and they want to grow them into or evolve them into entrepreneurs. So that is the organization. She was a program manager. She had done program management, and at a senior level with 18 years experience, she could get that very well. And today it's been about 8, 9 months that she's happy and fulfilled in that job. So somewhere, if you can align your own passion, again, I would say, to what the employer wants, that starts finding a connect. Especially if you have taken a break, make your passion your strength, bring it to the forefront, because
Right.
that is unique to you. Everybody else will say I'm a good supply chain person, etc., etc. So this was something which was a short story I wanted to share.
Fantastic. And it also highlights, Sarabjit, how mentorship and perseverance together can break barriers. So
Oh yes.
it's a great inspiring story. So thank you so much. This brings us to the end of the masterclass, and I thank you on behalf of HRAI for sharing your perspectives on leadership, empowerment, advocacy. These are some solid takeaways for women, and I'm sure our listeners are going to greatly benefit, Sarabjit.
My pleasure, Neha. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm really grateful for that.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. I'll just have a quick note to our listeners. Thank you so much for tuning into this masterclass. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation. Until we meet next time, stay inspiring and innovating. Thank you.